Hi everybody, it's Amy at Crafty Cat. How are you all today? I hope you're fabulous. I am doing pretty good. Just had to go get my hair cut and colored. Fun stuff, you know, get rid of the gray. So that took up most of my morning. It's amazing how much time just simple things like that take. Anyhow, I was able over the weekend to get my signature sewn into my cover. Well, get my cover. I did this on Friday, the cover, and then I stitched it in over the weekend. That's why I didn't do a video. Sorry, we had family and all those kind of things. So, this is the cover. So I have my little card. If you watch my shorts, this was one of my shorts where I cut, this is a Tim Holtz, just one of his black and white pieces. I cut that, put one of my Alice silhouettes in there, added a little tag that says drink me, and added some roses that need to be glued down some more. These are the things you find when you're, you know, showing other people your journals. And there's a doily back there and stitched around with some fabric up here. So that is one of my shorts, but anyway, it goes in that front pocket there. And then this is the cover, and I'm super happy with how this came out. So this again was from Made by Lady Beverly on Etsy. And when I went over there, she didn't have any of these slow stitch pieces in her shop. I got mine about 2 or so years ago. I don't even know exactly, but you might be able to message her if you are wanting something like that, or check other artists on Etsy for slow stitch toppers, or I don't know, whatever. I'm not even sure if this is like how this was supposed to be used. This was just how I decided to use it. Because it wasn't big enough like to do the whole cover, and it didn't look right going that direction because, you know, the heart and the flowers and all that, it's sort of directional. So anyways, that is it on our lovely blue floral pattern there. And then this card, I know I said I was going to do something with this, but I don't know what, honestly, because I don't really want to cover this up. I guess I could do a little something down here maybe, but I just don't want to cover it up. And then the back is fantastic just like it is. So I think I might just tuck this into this pocket. It's home. I did put a little ink on my fabrics. This is a different blue fabric, but you can see it in the camera there. I did just ink it a little bit just to give it that little bit of a vintaginess to it. And then I stitched it in, like I said. And oh, I was going to give you the quick rundown of that. So you know that this started as a Cheerio box. And you saw me how I put together the Cheerio box itself without covering it. Then all I did is take a piece of just polyester batting. And I've been asked what else you could use other than batting. I don't really know. I don't know what else you would use to give you that soft feeling. You don't have to cover the box at all with batting. You can just put the fabric on, and that's totally fine. I just prefer the soft under there. So it's all just a personal preference choice. But anyway, I glued a layer of batting on this side, and I glued a layer on the underside as well, or the back side. And then I just took my fabric, this little bit lighter, more white in this fabric, piece of fabric. I put the topper fabric on first because I wrapped it around the edges. So I did like the whole mitered edges, folded the fabric over on all the sides. Then I just put this piece of fabric, you can see the frayed edge of it, I just laid it to size on top of that. And then I made a pocket out of fabric, folded the edge over, ironed it, and then I stitched around the outside, and I also stitched up the center, which it did not like my sewing machine kind of took some big jumps, but it's kind of just to tack it, so when you open and close it, you're not getting that big bubble right there. You know how the fabric does when you close it, you can kind of see it right there. Now this puckering, I guess you'd call it. So that was just to help that a little bit, and you know, to keep my pocket to size and all that kind of thing. So that goes in there. So then I just, you know, stitched around all of it, all the way around. Sorry, it's always hard to describe these kind of things. And that is it. That's all I did. So there wasn't anything special. Oh, except this topper, this piece here, had to be sewn onto the floral fabric before I put the floral fabric onto the journal, obviously, because it's, you can see in here, you don't see any of the stitch marks. But if you did forget and then decide to put your topper on, it just might be kind of hard to stitch through all of that to get this on. And then this, all I did was stitch, you know, 3 sides so essentially the whole thing's almost like a pocket, except then I ran the stitch down the 2 sides of the spine, so it does stop. But before it was like one giant pocket. I didn't want the back to open or be a pocket, so I just have the one singular pocket here on the front. I hope that made sense. If you have questions, just ask me. Like I said, I did this on Friday, and I kind of always do covers on my own because I am stopping and starting and trying stuff and moving stuff and doing all that, and I don't like doing that on camera. It's kind of distracting to me, and I don't feel like I get the effects that I want or anything because I have to keep, I feel rushed. That's the word. So anyways, then what I did to sew in my signature, because this has also been another question that I've had a lot of with the cradles, and this is a new cradle I have in the shop. It's rainbow colored. My husband got some PLA, which is the plastic that makes these, and they're on a spool like thread, and they're, you know, kind of thin, like not as thin as thread, but it's the same concept. And so this is like a ombre thread or yarn that just keeps changing color, and so that's how you get that effect. And we couldn't do that before because all we had was solid spools of color. So sometimes we would put like a solid color to here and then do a different color at the top, or sometimes we do a color in the middle, and a color at the top. That takes stopping and starting the machine all the time. So this is kind of fun because you can just let it run. It runs through the whole program, and you get the whole thing with the rainbow ombre effect there. So anyways, you're going to want to make, if you're going to do this type of binding that has a spine on it, instead of, say, like a manila file folder that's just folded in half, and, you know, you slide your signature into, then you can do the whole thing on the book cradle, because you see how it goes into a V. It's very narrow down here, because what it does is help keep your signature holes right on the spine of just the singular signature. And a cover, if it's that type of cover. This type of cover you can't put into the book cradle. It doesn't work, because when you go to poke your holes, you're going to bend your whole spine, and that just doesn't work. So, and you can't do multiple holes that way. If, say, you're doing a 2 or 3 signature journal, you have to put your one paper signature into the cradle, poke the holes, and then sew it into the cover. Then you take the next signature, poke your holes, sew it into the signature. That's where these templates come in. And this is just the width of the spine. It's not as long. If you're just starting out, make your template the exact size of your spine. That'll just make it easier for you. I've done this several times, so I just took this piece that's 8.5 inches long. And since I'm doing one signature, I just folded it in half and then folded it in half again. That gave me my central point, so that's where the center is poked. So let me find it. And I'm sorry I didn't do this on video. I really don't like doing sewing in signatures on the videos. It makes me nerve-wracked. So anyways, so then and make sure you mark a top and a bottom, because it does matter. It can throw you off, because you poke your holes in your cover first, into the spine of the cover first. Then you want it to match up perfectly to your signature. Otherwise, you're going to be all messed up. makes a difference. Even by a fraction of an inch, it makes a difference. So then you take your template after you lay this onto the spine of the cover and poke your holes in your cover. You can take it into the center of your signature and then put it into your book cradle. Poke your holes using your awl, which is one of these little guys. So it's sitting in the book cradle. I poke the holes in the same spots, and then I bring it to my cover and stitch into the cover. And that's the only way you can do it if you have that wide spine. If you just have the single fold of like a file folder or a manila envelope or something like that as your cover, where it's the same width basically as your signature, you can put the whole thing into the cradle and poke the holes. But if you're doing multiple signatures or this type of single signature spine, you have to poke the holes into your signature, bring it to your cover, and sew it in that way. So I know that's a little confusing and difficult to understand. And then I have people say, what's the purpose of the book cradle if you're just moving it over to put it in here? The purpose of the book cradle is to get your holes all directly right on to the spine, like, you know, on that paper. So for example, I have, let's just pretend this is a signature right here. In the past, tried to do this on book page, which works. You can use foam books, you can use old books, you can use like cutting mats and that kind of thing to poke into, and it will work. The problem is that every once in a while you may get something like this one is off to this side, and do you see when I poke it, it seems like it's in the middle, but then when I fold it, you see it's on this side of the fold. You want your hole directly into the fold, and that's what the book cradle does, because it has the little trough or whatever you want to call it that helps keep everything, you know, straight on. Like you put it in, poke it. I mean, it doesn't work very great with one sheet of paper, but if you have multiple sheets of paper, it's going to go right in there every time, because that awl is going into the trough. So it's not going to give you this weird off to this side, off to the back side, because it really stinks when you poke 3 holes into your signature and you end up with one right directly on the spine and then one coming out this way and one going out that way. It's very aggravating. At least that's what I found. That's why I had my husband design these. So anyway, but if it's not your thing and you're really good at doing it in a phone book, do it in a phone book. I mean, that's fine. Whatever works for you, that's just, you know, that's just my thing. But anyhow, so what we're going to do is put these little corners on as well. So they'll just go on here, and then we will fold them down here. So I'm going to use just tacky glue to make that happen. I think if I have enough tacky glue here. This one's better. So yeah, sorry for the big, huge, long spiel. I just, you know, I have had questions, and I just want to make sure people understand the book cradle. It's for the signatures, not for making, you know, binding your whole entire journal. Unless you're doing the simple one signature in just a folded spine rather than a flat spine. I hope that makes sense. It is kind of confusing, I know. So anyhow, these are the Tim Holtz corners. And you just want to make sure it gets shoved up there real good. I just bend them over, but you can definitely use some type of tool, and that might be a smart thing to do. Just trying to find, hold on just a minute. Okay, I thought I had them right up here, but I didn't. I had them across the room. These little pliers, you can just give them a little squeeze on there. These are great to use because they just, sometimes the corners don't always look the best just because you're kind of oh, what do you call it? Got glue all over the place here. You know, when you're mitering, sometimes the corner sticks out of where the fabric is, and I just don't like that. So I like these because they hide a multitude of sins, I guess we could say. And you're just, you know, squeezing soft on them just to get them to stick down there. And then what I'll do is take some rubbing alcohol and just go over those. I don't use these a ton just because I don't do a ton of journals like this. So I'm probably not as proficient at it as some people. Like my pal Gail. She does all this stuff so fast. I'm always like, how? Because it just takes me forever to do covers and all that. But she's speedy. Speedy Gonzalez. She comes back from those retreats with, like, you know, 8+ journals or whatever. I'm like, how in the world? She's very organized, that's how. Yeah, so these look nice. They just kind of finish it off nice. You just gotta play with them a bit though. And you can use Fabri-Tac. That, you know, is definitely an option and it works awesome. I don't own any. I don't use it. It's a tactile thing. I can't stand the way it feels on my fingers. I know that's completely ridiculous, but that's how I am. I prefer tacky glue. I'm gonna probably have to pause in a minute and go find my cat because he went outside and it's a nice day except the wind's blowing, but I'm afraid he's gonna wander here and yonder and then he'll be gone again. I don't know what his deal is this year. He normally just, you know, sort of stays in the yard, but nope. But we got him that collar and he's been wearing it, so that's a good deal. Because then I can just get on my phone and find him. Somebody said he might have a girlfriend. He might, there might be another cat he's found. I don't know, but he just keeps wandering off. I think he is, as I've mentioned before, kind of lost without Jules, and then the kids, you know, moving out and all of it. He just is like, you two old people are real boring. I'm gonna go do something else. It's funny because he always acts like he hates the kids, you know, mugging on him and stuff. He acts like he's being tortured. But... and they're not kids. If you hear me say kids, they are adults. But I call them kids because they're my kids. But my son is known to give them cats a good mugging. So sometimes they just don't like that. All right. So, there's those. And then what we need is... excuse me, sorry. I'm going to put something up there. I just haven't decided what. I need something for these two pockets. That bag that goes on both sides. So I think I've come up with something, wherever the other side, there it is. I'm like, I know there's another side to this bag somewhere. So I've got all kinds of stuff here. And these are just like printouts and stuff from my digitals. The Spill and Tea, and, you know, obviously the Alice in Wonderland one too. Sorry, just trying to fix that. All right, so I think I'm going to use these. I did cut these down a little bit because they're a little bit big, but it works fine to cut them down. So, oops, this goes this way, huh? And then I also have a tag that goes behind the red queen. I think I was going to use her on there. This goes here, that goes there. Trying to remember all the things I did. All right, let me see. And then I have these, and I don't remember where I got these, but I'll try to link it. It's an Etsy shop. If you go in and search, what are they called? Cards for, like Alice in Wonderland playing cards, digital download. Then you should come up with lots of ideas. So I think I was going to do that with that one. And then Alice, so I'm going to put this here. I liked a little bit of this blue that's in her chair. I don't know what I was doing with that. It's funny how you do these things and then you can't remember what in the world you were doing. So I'm going to use that with that or on here. Like double. I think I did it the other way. I think I had this one on here with her and a doily and a teacup. And I don't know that I was using flowers. I think I was using those for something else. And then tea time. And had her over here, or which cup? I think it was that one. I don't know. All right, had her over here. I wanted to use this big cup. I think what I'll do is just trim off the plate because it's just a little wow. And then I have why is a raven like a writing desk for Hatter. Did I want this? I think I wanted just a little color over there. I think that's how I had them. And then this one, I probably had her. I think I used this one here, because it just went better than this one over here. All right. That's how we're going to do those. So yes, not anything super fun as far as a pocket or something, but we got to fill the pockets. So that's the problem, right? And I just printed these, as you can see. This is just copy paper, because they're just getting glued down entirely, so they'll be fine like that. Yeah, it's actually like hot in here today. It's supposed to be 80 degrees, but then it's gonna go back down and rain tomorrow. It's like, yikes, can we make up our mind? That's kind of a big change. I think I printed these teacups. These are printed on the Southworth paper that I kept showing you guys. Okay, I think that's good. So we'll get those glued down. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Tilt it a little bit more. I'm just gluing down here. I know you can't see me entirely, but I'm not doing anything exciting. Just the glue, just the glue. So yeah, we had a lovely Easter. We went over to my mother and father-in-law's and had a nice sort of late lunch, early dinner of ham and delicious potatoes and whatnot, and sat out on the patio because it was actually warm. So that was lovely, because it has not been warm. I wish it was just going to stay warm. I don't really necessarily want it to be 80 yet, because then It just gets too hot. But I could like some 50s or 60s just fine. But the wind is whipping, so that means a storm is a-coming. As it does. Ah, I don't think we're supposed to get snow. I hope, anyway. Perfect. And then I will ink the back with my fat brush. Just because it's not as harsh of lines as the foam ink pad. I did not do a very good job cutting that, did I? I should probably go over it again with my corner rounder. That's good for now. Looks good. And we'll get our Alice put together here. I'm going to just use a little bit of ink on the edges. Just shows up better when you do that. That's just some of that paper we made together. If you haven't seen that video, it was very close to the beginning of me doing these Alice in Wonderland, this Alice in Wonderland journal. I did like the second day or something like that. I did some paper fodder to use in it, you know. So there is a video that shows how I did that. Okay. This I'm going to use art glitter glue on. I don't worry a ton about getting every little thing, just the parts that, like these edges, because obviously they'll get lifted. But as long as you get a little glue here and there, it stays fine. Stuck to my glue paper. And I'll just trim that corner. I love those vintage. There's just no doilies like that, it feels like, anymore. I don't find them anyway. I find just sort of generic-y looking ones, but those kind are very cool. So I'm excited. We're getting very close with this journal. Almost done. And I know I'm covering up a lot of the card in the background, but it's a background, so it happens. Of course, you can do it however you like. I think I'm going to put a card, one of these little plain cards, which is fun. Maybe one more. They're so tiny. But I do love the way they look. They're just perfect for this. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear that wind. It's super annoying. Blowing away out there. Okay, put ink around this. And these, that Spill and Tea Digi, these pages I did print on just a lightweight cardstock. So it's not super thick, but it's thicker than copy paper. Like, what's that stuff called? I have to clean my desk now. All right, so there's that one. And then we have the White Queen. I know I've done a lot of inking with the purples and that, but on this I wanted different colors because of the background. I just think it'll help it go together better. I don't really want to cover that, but it's the only way it's going to fit. I need a new glue. That one is done. Glue book is stuck to my table. See, this is like super soft because it's so warm up here. Weird. Because I was freezing last week. I kind of probably need to sing for her too, huh? Do you know what? We'll have to look. We're all mad here, yes. Oh, you guys, I came up with Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I haven't gotten them ready to go yet in the shop because, like I said, I went and got my hair cut and stuff today, but hopefully by tomorrow I'll do that tonight, and then they turned out pretty cute. I'll show you on my iPad in just a minute. I'm just going to put adventure. They're very funny. And then I'll put fabric and stitch around them, and I'll show you where they're going to go in the journal. So by the time you see this video, they will be in the shop. I'll go do that right now. As soon as we're done here. So this one is going to get stitched around, and it's going to go back here. And let's see. Oh, those are going back here. I hope they fit. I'm pretty sure I checked, but now I'm questioning myself. So this one's going to go in here. And if they hang out this way a little, I don't care. It's the up and down. Oh, yeah, I did check. So that's fine. And then back here, We have Alice. These will also get stitched around with some fabric. That one will go there, and I liked that. I do remember that. Okay, good. I did it right. This one isn't quite as exciting, but that's okay because it's very bright here. All right, so let me grab my iPad. Just 1 second. And I will get into it. Oh, you probably couldn't hear me, sorry. Just getting into my iPad and finding the page. Okay. So, there's a glare. I'm sorry. It's really hard not to get a glare. I apologize. But anyway, there's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And I know this is not the best representation of showing you, and I will come and show it again, but just so you know. And it comes with the flowers and mushrooms. You'll get a page like that. And a page like this. They're a little smaller here with all those good things. Oh, and the dormouse. I know it's hard to see on the iPad, but there's the dormouse. This has a paper. If you see all the lines, that's for me drawing. And they don't come out because it's a screen protector. And it's like meant to feel like paper with the pencil there. So I need to get a new one is what needs to happen. And there's the other page. All right, so it's just going to be a small add-on kit, 3 pages, so it's not, you know, going to be super expensive or anything. So that is Tweedledee and Tweedledum and the Dormouse. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope something was helpful out of all of it, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Love you guys. Talk later. Bye.